Today we diving deep into one of the most mysterious, most talked about, and most misunderstood coins in American history, the 1976 Bicentennial Eisenhower Dollar, a coin that was made to celebrate freedom, independence, and a nation's 200th birthday, yet somehow became surrounded by rumors, errors, strange varieties. Yes, you heard that right. A single dollar coin that could potentially change someone's entire life overnight if the right combination of rarity, mint error, and condition all align in one unbelievable piece. Now before you dismiss this as just another coin story, imagine this: you're sorting through old coins, maybe from your grandfather's collection, maybe from a dusty jar that's been sitting in storage for decades, and suddenly you notice something strange about a large, heavy silver-looking dollar coin. It has a bold design of the Liberty Bell layered over the moon, it has a dual date 1776 to 1976. And it just feels different. The edges look unusual, the strike seems off, and the surface has that old and dirty look that most people would throw away without a second thought. But what if that exact coin is one of the rare error varieties that collectors hunt for around the world? What if that coin is not just pocket change, but a hidden treasure worth life-changing money? The 1976 Eisenhower Dollar, often called the Bicentennial Ike Dollar, was created during one of the most patriotic periods in modern U.S. history, when America was celebrating 200 years of independence. The U.S. Mint decided to redesign the reverse of the Eisenhower Dollar for a special commemorative issue, replacing the usual eagle design with the famous Liberty Bell superimposed over the moon, symbolizing both American independence and the space achievements that defined the 20th century. Especially the Apollo missions that were still fresh in public memory, this made the coin not just currency, but a historical symbol carried in every pocket across America. Millions of these coins were struck, which is why most people assume they are common and nearly worthless. But here is where the mystery begins, because within those millions, a tiny fraction came out with strange minting errors, unusual compositions, misalignments, double strikes, and even experimental strikes that were never meant to enter circulation. And those are the coins that collectors believe hold the real hidden value, the ones that can turn a simple dollar coin into a rare collectible worth thousands, tens of thousands, or in extreme cases, even more depending on condition and rarity. Now let's talk about why this coin is considered mysterious in the collector world, because it's not just one thing, it's a combination of hidden factors. First, the sheer production scale. Over 160 million Bicentennial Eisenhower dollars were produced across different mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but not all coins were created equal. Some were struck in 40% silver for collector sets, others were copper-nickel clad for circulation, and within these groups, there were subtle variations in strike quality, mint marks, and planchet differences that make certain examples far rarer than others, especially those with dramatic mint errors that escaped quality control. One of the biggest mysteries revolves around the so-called wrong planchet errors, where the Eisenhower bicentennial design was struck on leftover or incorrect metal blanks intended for other coins. These are extremely rare and highly sought after, because when a design meant for a large dollar coin is struck on the wrong type of metal, it creates a dramatic visual difference, weight difference, and sometimes even color variation, making it instantly stand out to experienced collectors. And these are the types of errors that, when authenticated, can reach values in the tens of thousands or more depending on condition. Another mysterious category is the off-center strike, where the coin design is not properly centered during minting, resulting in a dramatic shift of the image. Some show partial Liberty Bells, others have missing dates or incomplete rims, and the more extreme the off-center percentage while still showing a visible date, the more valuable the coin becomes, because collectors love dramatic mint mistakes that are still identifiable. Then we have the double die errors, where the design appears slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. Under magnification you might see doubling in the lettering, especially in words like Liberty or In God We Trust, and in rare high-grade specimens. These doubling effects can significantly increase value, sometimes turning a normal-looking coin into a high-value collectible worth thousands. There are also clipped planchet errors where part of the coin blank is missing due to a mechanical cutting error before striking, creating a curved or straight clip on the coin's edge, and when combined with strong strike details and good preservation, these errors can also command strong premiums in the collector market. Now let's address the part that gets everyone's attention, the value, because while most circulated 1976 Eisenhower dollars are only worth face value or a few dollars, the rare error versions, especially in high grades or silver composition with dramatic mint mistakes, have been reported in auction environments and private sales reaching surprising levels. Some verified collector-grade silver proofs and high-end varieties have sold for hundreds to thousands of dollars, but in rare error combinations, especially those with multiple minting mistakes on the same coin, collectors and online marketplaces sometimes speculate or advertise extreme figures, even as high as $10,000 to $25,000 and $50,000 or more depending on rarity, demand, and condition. Now here is where the excitement builds even further, because in online coin communities and viral collecting videos, there are often claims about ultra-rare Bicentennial Eisenhower dollars allegedly reaching $350,000 to $400,000 and in extremely sensational stories even being valued at $1 million or more. However, it is important to understand that these top-tier figures are not standard auction records for typical Eisenhower dollars, but rather speculative or exceptional cases involving either multiple rare error combinations, experimental mint pieces, or sometimes misidentified or privately marketed coins that gain viral attention. Still, the idea remains powerful, because in numismatics, rarity, condition, and authentication can completely transform a coin's value in ways most people would never believe. So what actually makes a 1976 Bicentennial Eisenhower dollar truly special? The answer is not just the design, but the combination of history, scarcity in top condition, and the possibility of mint errors that escape detection, because while millions exist, only a microscopic percentage survive in perfect mint state condition, and an even smaller fraction carry rare and dramatic minting mistakes, making those coins the true targets for collectors who are constantly searching for the one in a million-inch discovery. If you are trying to identify whether your coin might be valuable, there are several key things you should always check carefully. First, look at the mint mark. Coins from San Francisco often include silver-proof versions that are more valuable than regular circulation strikes. Next, check the surface quality. If the coin has mirror-like fields or unusually sharp details, it may be a proof or special strike. Then examine the edges. Silver Eisenhower dollars have a distinct solid silver edge. Compared to the copper-nickel layered edge of regular coins, this is one of the fastest ways to identify composition. Then look closely at the design under magnification, search for doubling in letters, missing design elements, or unusual misalignment. Also weigh the coin if possible, because silver and clad versions have different weights, and even small differences can reveal major discoveries. Condition plays a massive role as well, because even a rare error coin loses value if it is heavily worn or damaged, but an uncirculated or mint state example with sharp details, strong luster, and visible errors can multiply in value dramatically, especially if it is professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC, where authentication can turn uncertainty into certified high value. Now imagine the moment a coin like this appears at auction, collectors from around the world competing in real time, bidding rising rapidly as rarity and condition are confirmed. Sometimes prices jump within seconds, especially if the coin has been featured in major collections or has a known pedigree. This is where the true excitement of numismatics comes alive, because it's not just about metal and weight, it's about history, competition, and discovery. The Eisenhower Bicentennial Dollar also carries emotional value beyond money, because it represents a time when the United States was reflecting on 200 years of independence. It was a celebration of national identity, pride, and technological achievement, and every coin minted during that time carries a small piece of that story, which is why collectors are drawn to it even beyond its potential monetary value. Some of the most interesting auction stories involving Eisenhower dollars include high-grade silver proofs selling for thousands of dollars, and rare mint error specimens attracting strong bidding wars among specialized collectors. While most common circulation pieces remain low in value, the gap between ordinary and extraordinary is what makes this coin so fascinating. So if you are holding a 1976 Bicentennial Eisenhower dollar right now, don't rush to assume it is ordinary, because the difference between a face value coin and a life-changing collectible could be a tiny minting mistake, a small variation in metal composition, or a subtle detail that only experienced collectors recognize. And that is exactly why this coin continues to capture attention decades after it was first released.